Kate Delaney, we're also getting more details today to how many officers were involved, and that also 2 more were injured, apparently, when the gunman burst in, breaking the glass to get into the building.
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, we know, sadly, 5 killed. We know 7 others were injured and hospitalized. Then there were a couple of others that were injured as well. So the total keeps moving all over the place. But Rita, I know that it's up over 14.
Over 14. What's the status of the ones who are in the hospital, too? Because, gosh, our heart breaks for them and their families. Of course, the officers' families, those who lost their lives, that is the most heartbreaking. But there are still who are in very serious condition, right, Kate?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple of officers who are still fighting, we would say, for their lives. In other words, they're in critical condition, but looking better is the latest word I got from my sources before we went on the air here. So that is good news. They feel like they're going to pull out of it, but you never know.
Absolutely. Justin Fryman, Nancy Grace producer. Cosby in for Nancy Grace with a lot of new details in the Dallas shootings. Let's go back to Kate Delaney. Kate, I want to ask you about the robot. We're getting all these new details, and this was like the first time ever a robot was used to take out the guy, the shooter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's kind of the intriguing thing, if you will, Rita, about this. After negotiating with the gunman for a very long time, he fired shots off, talked about wanting to kill white people, more white people and cops. Eventually, the negotiators decided, okay, this is not going to end the way we want it to perhaps end, by apprehending him. Therefore, they decided to use that robot, and effectively it annihilated him and the threat.
You know what's amazing today? There are a number of people who are saying, oh, was that the ethical thing to do? And the police chief there in Dallas has had to even respond to whether it was ethical, which I don't think anybody who's shooting at cops deserves to, have people talking about the ethics at that point. Let's go to Ken Williams. The other thing we're finding out is that there's 170 hours of body cam video, 300 witnesses. Kate Delaney, that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to a detective today, and he pretty much told me, when I pressed him a little bit on the timeline, that they have no idea how long it's going to take to process all of this information, bring the correct witnesses back once they decide they've got something to add to the story. But that's a lot of people and a lot of evidence also that they have to go over.
Yeah, Justin Fryman, that's a lot of coordinating, too. I mean, you and I have covered a lot of cases together. You've certainly covered so much.